Hey there, friendlies. How is up? Welcome to the 3rd of November episode of the Beer Blades and Bushcraft livestream. Tonight, I'm declaring this your inner sanctum or your safe haven from election and politics talk. There will be no election spoilers here, even if I knew any. I think that there's a place for a spot like this on a night like this. Forgot my cans. I do not say that from any, sense of personal politics. I'm just tired of hearing about it right now, and we'll be hearing about it for the next couple of weeks at least. So let's just talk about stuff that calms us down, does our soul some good. Before we go any further, I would just want to say that if you are watching us time shifted to tomorrow or next week or any time other than live, thank you for spending your time with me, even after the fact. I very much appreciate that. So let's start off by saying hi to everyone who's hanging out with me tonight. I will reference this in a minute. Johnny Harper, how's it going, mister? I love seeing you showing up in my side chat these days, man. I loved meeting you on, I think we met on a Quebec homestead. Did we first meet on a Quebec homestead stream? I think it was. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with us. Hey there, Grace. How's it going? IRC Adventures, nice to see you. Sitting doing some work on the computer and watching too. That's fine. There's me. Pine Martin's here. That's always a good night when Pine Martin's here. Simon, come on, va. Old North Southpaw, how's it going? Nice to see you here. Mike Morton. Welcome to the show, Mike. I know that some people who are usually here will not be here tonight due to having an early morning or other things. I feel no ill will towards it. Excuse me, towards anyone who can't be here with us tonight. Tenenbaum, how's it going? Pine Martin and Grace Martin. It's all Martin, Tenenbaum says. I like it. Oh yeah. I don't know what's going on, Martin. I just got a wicked cold or something. It's like all it is some congestion and a little bit of coughing. Nothing else really. So this weekend I did a project that I have mentioned to some of you, in which was I bought a barrel, a wine barrel, a full-sized one. And the plan was to cut a circular hole in the top and put a flush mount LED light, attach a cable to it, bring it out the bunghole. I'm such a kid. I can't say bunghole without thinking like Beavis and Butthead or something. And then, just essentially you plug in the light, it comes on, so that when I'm, if I start my whiskey channel or if I'm doing more bushcraft cocktails, then I can put like the bottle or the glass on the light and have it lit up from underneath. I think it would be a really nice look. So I did that this weekend. And the way I clocked myself was I was using a you and me both. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Hey, Lakes and Hikes is here too. How's it going? So excuse me. So I was cutting to do the hole. I first drilled a 1-inch. I used a 1-inch bit and brace, and then used a keyhole saw, and then switched to a jigsaw when my neighbor looked over the fence, saw me, because the flat top and bottom of a barrel, they're like this thick, right? Because the wood has to be strong enough to essentially hold like 400 pounds of alcohol. So I'm just like, and my neighbor's like, "Attends là, j'ai un jigsaw. Wait up, hold on, I've got a jigsaw for you." So that went a lot faster. But so while I was doing the initial hole to get the keyhole saw in, what I did was sometimes when I'm up high like that, I'll like lean my head on it to push down, to get a little downward pressure, because I feel that there's better leverage if you're bending at the waist than bending at the elbow. And I've become really, really good at like being able to hear when the wood's about to go and just sort of backing off and then lightly finishing it off. But I don't know. I guess a big old oak barrel, I'm not used to the sound or something. It just went through and pow! And my glasses just bonk right into my nose. I saw stars and everything. But I did get the barrel done. And if my phone wasn't plugged in over there, I would show you a picture. But I believe I posted a picture on my Instagram. It was really nice to finally do that project, though, because I'd been thinking about it and thinking about it. I went and bought a barrel. I went and spilled beer all over the keyboard. And like sometimes I'll start a project and then like I'll buy the expensive thing that I want to use, and then like I'm gonna say run out of time, but I'm starting to think that I've sort of given up on that part of my life in some ways. But saying that I run out of time makes me feel a lot less guilty. I have here an interesting beer tonight. Let's get the rest of the housekeeping out of the way. This is a brand new brewery in Hudson, Quebec, run by, I won't say he's a friend. He's someone I used to know, but he's more of a friend of a friend. This is Cardinal Brewing. Flagship ESB is sort of, I guess, their flagship beer. So it's an extra special bitter, and I'm into that kind of stuff. 4.7% alcohol. So it's a little light. It's an IBU of 30, but I think it'll be okay. I mean, I do like bitters. Mm. Mm-hmm. It's not like it doesn't come off like a British bitter. It's like there's I don't know what's in it. Tasting notes: a traditional British ale, malty and slightly sweet, with hints of biscuits and jam. But there's a New World taste to it there that, like, I was expecting your straight up British ESB, but I don't know. It's livelier. Come on, camera. So yeah. So it was really nice to get that barrel done. I will say unto you that moving said barrel is a chore because they are heavy. Getting into my car and out of my car was an epic chore. Well, actually, getting into my car was no problem because the guy at the brewery where I bought it, he just sort of, threw it into my car. Bye. But getting it out for a guy like me who hasn't done anything like physical since the Rona struck, getting it out of my car was just like I took a real ginger, especially because the car is my wife's. Those of you who've been watching me for a long time know that a couple of years ago I recycled my old 98 Camry. Rest in peace and all that. So we've been using my wife's car. We're a one car family right now. So don't scratch the car. Where was I? No, I'm not getting into fights. Lakes, man, the last fight I was in, I don't even remember. It was a long time ago. I've never really been too much into the fights. So what do you guys think? Should I just open up the floor right now to anyone who wants to talk about anything outdoorsy, canoe-y, winter camping-y, anything that's not political, election related, or guns? Excuse me. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, Mike, great video. Which video are you referring to, Mr. Old North? I will check to see what video you're talking about. Oh, Now I don't know what's going on. Hey, Mark's here. Ahoy, you scurvy mateys. Hey there, Mark. Welcome back to the channel. Johnny Harper. Welcome back, Mr. Johnny. The answer is yes. If they haven't closed the damn borders on us or something again, then yeah, of course, absolutely. Oh, I gotta talk to you about that project I spoke to you about like a couple of months ago. I have a place now that that I'm researching, and the rest of you guys don't know this. I'm not ready to announce it yet, but Martin knows what I'm talking about. But yes, so I definitely want to try that again. Oh, this beer is good, guys. So yeah, I mean, you know what? I'll just, if anyone wants to come on and talk about anything outdoorsy, there I believe is the link. And there's no real, I have no solid plans for tonight's discussion. I figured that the entire world is, you know, obsessed with one event tonight, and so it would be nice to just talk about all the stuff that, you know, that we enjoy, that's good for our souls, that makes us kick back a little bit. This morning I woke up and there was this much snow on the ground, and it was there was the snap in the air that said, okay, winter is coming. And I know that later this week, next week, it's gonna go up to like 18 degrees again. But that first real snowfall. Hold on a second, guys. Ugh. I have the same feeling every year when that first real snowfall hits. And I don't mean real snowfall like we get a 10-centimeter dump. I mean, it was like this much snow. Most of it was gone by the afternoon, but that first snowfall makes me deeply wish that I was looking at it out the door of a cabin with a fire that I had just built burning behind me, and like a steaming cup in my hand. My buddy Robin and I have talked about this a lot, because we both have the same fantasy, and it got sparked for both of us by the same. Well, it used to be called John Neiman Video, but now that company is called the Northmen. I think it's just Northmen.com, and it was a video of the John Neiman that the company was named after, Yanis Neimanis, walking across a snow-encrusted field into his blacksmith shop, lighting a fire, putting on a cup of coffee, putting on a pot of coffee on a wood stove, and then firing up his forge, and like the camera looks out this window from this dark and warming place across this field, this snowy field, and like it's just coniferous trees in the distance. And ever since I saw that video, it got me exactly where I live in a lot of ways. I at this point in my life, I no longer have any dreams of opening a forge. I'm trying to hone my interest to stuff that, with the years that are left to me, I can make a good go of. So I'm concentrating much more on YouTubing, bushcraft, and stuff like that. I'm not even carving that many spoons anymore. I still knock one out every now and again. I still want to redo my spoon carving video series, actually. But I'm not going to go trying to make a gas forge and learning all those skills. No, I will learn how to turn wood, because it's part of the woodworking part of what I like to do. Where was I? Oh yeah, so that first sort of nice crisp air, powdery snow on the ground, not like a wet damp. There goes that blue light back there again. It's funny the fantasies we have, eh? And I sort of got a little bit of that when I used to go up to the hunt camp up near LaBelle. We'd get the wood stove going, look out the cracked window, see snow on the ground. Man, my favorite time of camping was always like, even when we'd had a good hunt and there was a deer on the tree outside. My favorite time was crawling into bed and listening to the silence and having the warmth of that stove and like maybe a little wind outside or something. I love that moment. I gotta get me a hunt camp even if I don't hunt again. And there's a magic to it, like a really ramshackle shack too, in that kind of context. If I was to build myself a cabin, I would want to do something kind of along the lines that Sean James did. I would build a log cabin. It wouldn't be exactly the same as his, but his is pretty cool though. And it's funny because I used to want a fireplace. Growing up, I was like, wood stove. No, I want a fireplace. And my entire philosophy has changed on that. I would way rather have a wood stove than a fireplace now. I just feel that there's much, much more heat efficiency with a good wood stove. And then with a fireplace that's all sort of open. I don't know. Has anyone else had their first snow? Let me actually just take a look at the side chat here. Nice. Oh yeah. IRC, is that a hot tent you're going to, or I don't remember where you live. Are you in BC? Are you in BC? Yes. Okay. I'll drop you a note. Maybe, I don't know, Thursday. Drop you a call. Yeah, like I'm dying to hit the woods. Okay, Johnny, if you ever get out of that lineup, then feel free to jump on and tell us about your favorite fishing stories. I'm glad you asked that, because the reason I put that my thought experiment video up was because I try whenever I do a panel or an interview to not put it start again. I'm gonna start that sentence again. When I do like a panel discussion video or an interview, I try not to put too much of myself into it. Because I went to school in media, I like to look at myself as an interviewer in that case. And all the best interviewers did nothing but ask questions. They could weave the narrative of the interview into something coherent just by asking questions, not giving their own opinions, not giving their own attitudes. And I slip up on that all the time. And then I just have to sort of claw myself back and say, well, okay, except maybe I'm wrong, and I think that we had a very good conversation. I got some constructive criticism from a viewer the next day about how not being able to come up with a catch-all answer that would not being able to come up with a catch-all solution that would answer every situation doesn't mean that there can't be a few solutions that mitigate things in some ways. And I said, you know what, it's a fair critique, right? Because it's something that, like, Martin, you sort of started to mention a little bit, but then not exactly what I'm talking about, but you were sort of heading in that direction a little bit, but then the conversation sort of swerved. But to me, it became, the thought experiment was a thought experiment I was having, and I wanted to capture it and put it up, because that conversation, and then that the conversation the next morning, made my head sort of, okay, yeah, but okay, so what if there were no national parks or provincial parks? What if we were putting in the first park, creating the first license for the first outfitter, putting in the first load in spot for canoes and boats? Like, how much of the solution sphere, shall we say, that we were or we were not talking about, are because there's a system that's been in place forever, and wholesale scrapping that and starting again is expensive and unheard of and blah. Like, what if you're just starting from the very, very beginning, and you're free, right? You can do whatever you want. Do you do things as simple as what I was talking about? Oh, Austin's here. Okay, I'm going to let you on in 1 second. I just want to finish my thought. Do you do something like on ski hills? Or do you do, because there were some really good comments dropped below that video. Not all stuff that I agreed with, but it was all stuff that I could see that the thought process behind it was sober, and obviously they weren't just sort of coming at it with, well, what if you try this, and so I'm glad I just put up that really crappy off the cuff video, because the conversation that happened behind it, and then when Michael from I'm going to call him Primal Edge because that's his original channel, put up his reply. Actually, hey there, Austin. Just let me finish my thought. Nice hat, by the way. Very nice. I found that Michael's video, it made me think about a whole lot of stuff. Partly because, I mean, he knows what it's like to lose a kid, and I know what it's like to almost have lost both of my kids. Austin, did I accidentally kick you off? Sorry. Anyways, anyone who hasn't watched Mike's response video to mine, I think I posted it on my community page. It's well worth a look. He's also a YouTuber I've known for a long time now. We sort of lost track of each other a bit there, but I don't know. I hope I'm answering your question, Martin. I sort of started, going off, around, but Austin, what's up, man? Oh no, I can't hear you. Austin,
Oh, I had unmuted, or I had muted myself so I didn't like blast in crunching potato chips.
Okay.
I was just gonna hop on and kind of clarify some of my thoughts that I had made in kind of really long comments on your original reply. These kind of all get convoluted when there's replies to videos to.
Well, it's interesting because that conversation between you and I think that was Tenenbaum, that was one of the longest and, in my opinion, most satisfying outcomes of one of my videos in a long time.
Yeah,
because obviously you guys aren't really agreeing, but you're kind of not completely disagreeing ish.
Well, and that's kind of what I just wanted to bring to bear was that I think one thing, and is it avid outdoor guy?
Avid outdoorsy guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Ethan.
Ethan, and I think that him and I were echoing a couple of times in the comments, is that there's a lack of collective will that Americans have to do things. There's such a big thing in the culture here to that leaves us naturally apprehensive to collective obligation to fix a problem.
Yeah, I noticed that. And by the way, I'm going to let you finish. I just want to interject that because he sort of hinted at the same thing as you. And I noticed that Americans had a much more you pays your money, you takes your chances approach than most of the Canadians did. And it's funny because stuff like that always reminds me, because to me, I see that the border as an imaginary line. Yeah, y'all sound different than us, but it's a line that was laid down by people who wanted it there. And it doesn't necessarily reflect anything at all. And then we have a conversation like this, and
Yeah.
that sort of gets thrown back in my Jesse face a little bit, you know?
I mean, we share so much in common, but there's like really core cultural pieces that I think it makes these kinds of conversations difficult for me, because I admire the sense of collective obligation that call it everyone other than Americans often have.
Yeah.
And but there's this part of me that I'm always like, I'm like 30% or 50% there. Like, yeah, that's a good idea, but freedom.
Yeah.
And so I think, I guess just don't listen. In regards to these things, for good ideas that are out there, don't let the we're not a great model to follow, because and I can think of a million different examples, but I don't want to open the political Pandora's box that could ensue along with those, so I will avoid that.
I'm being equally careful. And what I'm doing is there's so much cool stuff happening in the side chat that I'm just sort of putting up people's comments. Because a lot of people are coming down on Team Wood Stove in the side chat. I do want to say one thing that I think Martin said.
What am I missing?
Oh, I'm just putting them up. Well, can you see them on the screen as I put them up?
Yeah, but the Team Wood Stove.
Oh, because I had said about how when earlier in my life, when I was dreaming about putting up a wood cabin, I was all about the fireplace. I didn't want no wood stove. I want a fireplace, and I have completely 180'd on that.
Changed around.
The one thing where that makes me sort of question that is I watch a lot of Townsend's. Townsend's, right?
Yeah, he's really good.
And especially that cabin they built. That guy makes me want a fireplace. But it's like what Martin and a couple of guys are saying. You don't lose all your heat out the front of it, or or up the up into the air, whatever. There's just so much more cooking efficiency and everything.
When I was I went to Switzerland one year, and I went to Germany to visit a friend, and then from Germany we went to Switzerland for New Year's celebration, and we stayed in this hostel, and they had like this big, massive wood burning stove.
Yeah.
But it had like the biggest glass front door I've ever seen.
Okay.
And so you could just see every log and coal and ember in this fire. And it was cool because it was the best of both worlds, that kind of intimacy of staring into the fire, but that kind of enclosed and radiant heat of the wood burning stove.
Yeah. I know I would love to live in the kind of neighborhood, or let's face it, I would love to live surrounded by nobody, but where I could have what they used to call a summer kitchen. So you would sort of do like what Sean James did. You would have an outdoor kitchen. But traditionally what these things had were those big wood stove, like the kitchen ranges with an oven in it and stuff. Like there's a firebox on the side, and it's essentially a big ass range. But instead of running on gas or electricity, it was wood fired. And you can still buy these stoves now, but they cost a freaking mint.
What if you found an old, not like a potbelly stove, but what are the kind of like coal fire kitchen stoves that cooked and heated the house, and what do they call those?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. These were sort of like that. It's just they were big.
Big.
Yeah, because what they were doing is heating a house and handling all the cooking.
Right.
You know, sounds to me like IRC Adventures is going to an absolute wonderland for the weekend or the week. He's got a hot tent out there in Newfoundland, but it's sort of built like a cabin inside, I guess, for more longevity. But he says it's right on a lake. It's isolated,
like a canvas wall tent kind of thing.
Yeah, I see. Pine Martin is just hoving into the politics. This is exactly kind of what we're what Austin and I are skating around.
So, you commented about my hat, and I thought this was very appropriate to wear. This is I got this for $5, and it's like brand new, but it's from a place called Muckluck Annie's in Teslin, Yukon.
Where the hell is that?
I did some Googling, and apparently it was like some kind of old tourist pit stop.
Okay. Interesting. See you later, Lakes. Thanks for telling them to hit the thumbs up. What is it? Teslin?
Yeah, Teslin Yukon.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah. Felt like I had.
Here's something Dale says about it. He says fireplaces are for looks. Fireplaces are for looks. Wood stoves are an appliance. That sounds possibly about right.
I think the wood stove, though, you can really check. You can get something that's both aesthetically pleasing and serves.
Yeah.
If you want like a big thing that looks like a freight train, like a steam locomotive boiler, then you can get something that's totally aesthetic but unaesthetic.
Yeah. I think one of the things also that makes me sort of shy away from the open fireplace concept is the last thing I'd want is Clémence to come running by and, you know.
Can you guys put in, say you wanted to remodel your house there in Quebec, are they pretty strict about wood burning in the...
Oh yeah, it's permanently banned in my city.
Really?
Can't have it. Can't have it at all.
Wow.
No way. In fact, it's banned in a fair number of Quebec cities. Not all of them, but yeah, I run a 0% chance of ever getting that.
What about pellet stoves? Are those at all popular?
They're not banned. They're not banned. I don't love the pellet stove, but it's not banned. So, you know, there's a certain amount of wind.
Wood. It's kind of wood fire.
Yeah, that's true. Hold on a second. I'm looking for boom. Here you go. There's a kitchen wood stove.
Yeah, that's what I had pictured in my mind. So,
yeah.
But is this the same thing that the outdoor kitchen has in it?
Well, that's what I would put. That's what like a real traditional like 200-year-old outdoor kitchen would have, something like that. Yeah. You know.
See, I wish I had the book. From moving into my house, there's all kinds of things that I wish I knew where they were.
Right.
But it was a book called it's like the Guide to Underground Home Building for $200 and up, or something like that. And one of the things that this guy laid out in building an underground house was this concept that he had called like the indoor outdoor kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And he would dig this like exposure up the hill.
Okay.
And he had basically these windows that swung wide, and he would legitimately build like a campfire over, and then just set a grate over it and pull the windows closed. But
it's funny that reminds me of when I was working in tech, I am actually working in tech, but I mean, before I burnt out of tech the first time, a guy that we knew, this was sort of before the bubble burst, took his tech millions and built himself a house on a mountainside or a hillside, whatever. Sort of built partly into the slope of the mountain, partly just sort of sticking out. But it faced the sun, right? Like it spent most of the day with the sun on it. So he built it so that there was one long corridor, okay, going across the house, all windows on the side facing the sun, and then the corridor wall was concrete. So it would spend all day
Passive solar heating.
Yeah, just getting hotter and hotter, and then spend all night just radiating out that heat. And so he spent nothing on heating his house.
Wow.
I mean, this is what happens when you have an engineer decide he wants a house being to be built, right?
Do you ever see the show, or did you ever like the show Mythbusters?
Yeah, I did.
There's a video out there somewhere of beret guy Jamie,
yep,
describing his like overly engineered way to heat his home with a wood burning stove.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And yet unsurprising.
Yeah, it's like, of course.
I'm gonna look that up. Janie Heineman.
Have you guys had unseasonably warm weather today?
No, today was pretty cold. It warmed up a bit at night, but it was when I woke up this morning, it was below freezing. There was snow on the ground. In fact, the snow is still on the ground.
We were over 20 C today.
Wow.
And even up on Lake Superior in Wisconsin here, it was my girlfriend's parents had, and I was just itching to get outside. But are you
interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not unseasonably warm here. That's for sure. It's going to be next week. It's supposed to go up to like 18 or whatever. Excuse me.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you about in this, and I don't know if you've discussed this in the past, but I recently watched some videos and bought a Finnish gas mask bag.
Oh, did you get it from Veristelica?
No, I found an American dealer that was selling them for $10 a piece.
Wow.
So I bought 3 of them.
Yeah, I would have done the same. Well, I would have bought one because I keep meaning to do the
purge.
Yeah, but I'd like to get a haversack, and a lot of people say that's what you should get for a haversack.
Yeah, well, for me, I bought it because I live so close to my office. If I need to go up and work and do something like kind of in an emergency, say after hours, I would just as soon go up to my office and sit at my desk, and rather than bring my whole office home.
Yep.
But there's still things that I want to bring and take with me every day.
Yeah.
And so this is, for lack of better description, kind of my man bag, my man purse.
Yeah.
But what do you like surplus? Do you often use it? I'm a sucker for all kinds of things surplus that I use all the time.
I have a I'm surplus averse, and yet I buy a lot of surplus. I will not use anything that the Canadian forces are currently using.
That's fair. I don't use American. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if I was in the States, I'd have the same philosophy about American stuff because, I mean, we don't have that whole sort of, what do they call it? Stolen valor, robbed valor. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You never hear that crap up here at all. But
it makes for some great YouTube videos to watch.
So true. But I sort of, part of me has kind of that kind of approach to like wearing a current issue Canadian combat jacket, even if I'm not all done up. I'll wear historical stuff. Like I have the old sort of just green, khaki kind of green Canadian combat shirt that I had when I was a cadet. Right, whenever we'd go into the bush and we wore combats and stuff.
This is when you were in like the Air Patrol.
And I guess Civil Air Patrol is the closest you guys have to the Air Cadets. It's a very British patterned youth wing of the Air Force. Like every Commonwealth country has air, land, and sea cadets. And I don't know how to explain it other than it's the youth wing of the armed forces, age 12 to 18.
Could be. Does it? Because we have like ROTC. I even forget what the hell it means. But
it's Reserve Officer Training Corps, I think. But no, because that's hooked into universities and stuff, right?
Well, but they have it in. They have what they call JROTC, which is the junior, and you'll find it in high schools.
Okay.
And if you complete the program, you can have preferential rank and things if you continue on into like enlisted military service.
So there's a similarity there. I'm gonna put a link in this side for anyone who's actually interested in this kind of stuff. But
you still anyway. You said you still have your jacket that you would wear.
Well, actually, I still have my entire uniform up there somewhere. After spending however many years, keeping my creases all, they said, okay, well, take that bag. And I said, fuck that forever. This is staying at my place. I don't know why. I just became attached to that uniform. And it's funny because they don't even look like we looked anymore. The uniform is the same, but it used to be that all three cadet forces or whatever wore the same. I think they call it rifle green, the same army green uniforms as a holdover from when the Canadian Armed Forces all wore the exact same uniform. But now Air Cadets wear Air Force blue, Sea Cadets wear black, and the Army Cadets still have the same. So I look at my old uniform and think, man, that's from a different time.
For sure.
But the point I was going to make is that, and there are two active service members in my family, right? My stepsister, who was interviewed on one of my live streams, and my brother, who is now a former commando and current helicopter pilot. I feel it's disrespectful to them if I was to wear anything that is currently issued. But I mean, I've got some old stuff, and I really like the really old stuff. I used to have that I think a British haversack. I think it might have been a gas mask bag or something, like this big heavy canvas. And I used to have one of those, and I would love to get it back.
I'll carry you over to my workbench where I have just slews of things. But yeah, I'm kind of a sucker for the things that I can use.
Okay.
So this is a French bag that I got without getting into guns. I'm getting into black powder.
Okay.
And so I got it for a possibles bag for.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at it. Yeah.
All that. And I think I was talking to somebody, and one of my favorite things about it is like you buy the civilian equivalents to these things,
mm-hmm.
and there's always something missing. But it's very rare that I don't come across, or that I come across a piece of surplus that I don't like at all.
Yeah, okay.
That I find fault with. Like, for example, this is a grenade pouch, an Eastern Bloc, East German, Yugoslavian.
Okay, that's East German for sure.
Yeah, it's the strict turn from East German, but was used by Yugoslavia and other Soviet bloc countries.
I didn't know that.
From the 70s to the 80s. Yeah, you'll see at least Yugoslavia. I think there were some other Soviet bloc nations that used it, but like these are perfect.
Yeah.
There's no buckle. There's no spring or
Yep.
like just the.
Yeah. That's
and,
that's good engineering right there.
Like I have somewhere I have the surplus American Antarctic canteen. Have you seen that?
Is that one big?
I think I have it.
I'm trying to remember. I think I've seen that somewhere. Mark is oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
But anyway, I won't go digging through boxes just to show you there's pictures to be found. But like when you find these reports online of like the committee for designing the Antarctic canteen, and they spent, however many millions of dollars to make something as that serves like one purpose for one theater.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the feeling of having the really well thought out pieces of kit.
The only thing over engineered.
The only thing I don't really like is often it comes in green and camo, and you get accused of being a survivalist or
tactical, as I say.
The stuff I buy is old enough that I don't know as if I'm being
tactical or just
yeah.
Okay. See you later, Martin. Everyone say good night to Martin. See you. I'll drop you a line probably Thursday evening.
John, I was just looking at that. I was wondering what his thoughts were.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a pretty pricey piece of kit. If it's the one I'm thinking of.
Titanium is always pricey, though.
Yeah, but when you consider a steel equivalent, it's
very true. Okay. Keith Titanium TI 3060 Canteen Mess Kit? No. Yes. Keith Titanium. Okay. I'm looking it up. Drinkware? No. Sport bottle? No. What does this thing look like? Titanium Canteen Mess Kit. Okay. Oh, this is like
I think
what's Dave Canterbury's
Self-Reliance?
Yeah. Oh, snap.
What is it, about $200 or more?
On Amazon.com, it's $158.97. So yeah, it would easily be 200 Canadian dollars. But it looks like it's exactly the same as the one that that you can buy through whatever Dave Canterbury's shop is called. Although the bag for this one's much nicer in my opinion. Wow, that is expensive.
Keith, have you had any problem? Do you boil in it? Have you ever had any problems with warping on it? I know that's the one thing with titanium that over stainless steel is that it'll warp, and
that's why I fear titanium. Wait, Nate, are you and Martin doing a trip together? Is that what's going on here? Are you guys? Check this out, guys. So, Avid Outdoorsy guy tagged me in the canoe flip challenge, and just to tell you how isolated I am from my entire YouTube world, I know nobody who has a canoe I can borrow to flip.
What is like this nobody called?
The canoe flip challenge that's going around.
I haven't seen this.
You sort of pick the canoe up, put it on, put it back down, however many times you can within a minute, and whatever you do, that's the amount that you donate to Canoe Canada.
That's cool. Is this kind of in response to this tragedy out on Lake
No, it's been going on for a little while.
Oh, okay.
It was started by oh god, I'm too tired to be doing this tonight. By Chris Prowse. Canoe Canada is, and I'm probably not even getting the name right at this point because I'm zonked. It's an organization that gets essentially underprivileged kids into the woods without charging them for it.
That's great.
Yeah, and so I got challenged to do this canoe flip, and thankfully, Chris said that you can be a little creative even if you can only flip like a picture of a canoe, because I literally know nobody around me who has a canoe that I can borrow, which is ridiculous. My father-in-law has a big old like 200-pound canoe, but
I was gonna say, go down to the nearest store and ask for a old pine pallet from their out in the back and heave that over your head a handful of times.
Or build a mini birch bark canoe.
Yeah,
like yay big and boop. Actually, that's bloody genius.
Here you go. You can make and you've got another video out of it. How to make a
very tiny birch bark canoe. How to make a birch bark canoe, right?
You'll get all kinds of. It's the old clickbait, not clickbait.
The thumbs downs I would get are almost worth it just to do that video. It's the same as I bought a plastic axe, like a Halloween plastic axe from the dollar store, and part of me really wanted to do a review video on it.
Oh man, like no.
This ain't cutting with crap. This ain't cutting with crap, and then like take a file to it, and I was like, wow, that's not hardened. I want to do stuff like that. It feels like I would be letting down my friends or something,
Well, anything to stir the viewing hours.
Yeah.
Maybe make a recipe for just a day trip that I'm heading.
Oh, Nate, one day I got to get into a boat with you guys, or into a boat and you guys be in boats. I'm too tired to be doing this. One day I would like to take a trip with you and Martin and others. Yes, Chris Prowse started it. Yeah, it says Project Canoe. That's what it is. That's what it's called. Good old Tenenbaum. Anyway, so it's funny because it's the kind of program that I would have died to have taken advantage of as an underprivileged youth when I was young. Tenenbaum put the link for the place in the side chat.
That's a great domain name.
Yeah.
Good.
So anyways, I got to figure out a way to do this challenge.
I'll share with you one other thing, and
I just want to say good night to IRC Adventures. Have yourself a good night. Enjoy that camp time, tent time. I think anyone who can get into the woods right now, it's is well worth your time. Get the hell away from the circus that is urban North America right now. All COVID-y and politic-y and things-y.
Just was curious if you have any bushcraft kind of do-it-yourself Christmas gifts that you're going to be making. But these were some thistles or of some kind that I pressed that I'm going to be having matted and framed.
Nice. Look at that purple.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
My grandmother, she passed this year, and her favorite color was purple, and so I'm gonna just give these. I picked two and pressed two, and I'm gonna give one to my sister and my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, so nice.
But do you other than your spoon gifting, do you ever try to do any bushcrafty?
I kind of want to, and then I just end up, oh wow, it's Christmas in 3 days, and so then I end up running out and buying a bunch of stuff anyway.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to have the idea when these were in bloom.
Yeah,
because pressing is like such a set it and forget it. Um,
but like, how long does it take?
to have a flower like this,
Yeah.
pre- um, not even a week, because what you're doing is you're essentially when you put the flower in between the book pages.
Yeah.
Your here's the other one I have. Your evening out the dehydrating process, like almost to where it's completely uniform. So it's not like this is drying out and then the stem and then the leaves.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps the color. But yeah, I mean, I've had I always keep a hardcover book or journal in my bag, and there's been ones that I've found in the backs of books that
just been there for years.
Yeah. And but you can also do it and have something that you could glue in a matter of a couple of weeks at the latest.
Yep.
But, well, yeah. I'll let somebody else hop on and say hello. I hope you are doing well, and
yeah, we're doing well. It's funny. Yesterday, a lot of you guys know I keep putting the invite down below, but no one else is biting. I don't know if you know, but we've been for forever now. We've been working on getting Clémence over a very wicked egg allergy, and so it's been like way over a year of a progressive introduction of egg stuff that started with telling my wife to weigh up her egg in intake so that she could microdose the baby at that point. And so yesterday we went for, we're really nearing the end now. We were at giving her a meringue. And we did this meringue about 6 weeks ago, and it was an epic failure, big reaction. Spent a long time at the hospital. And so yesterday I took her and, okay, because what we're supposed to do is give her progressively less cooked egg for like 2 weeks before the next stage kind of thing. Like at first it was muffins, because when something is baked for a half hour, the protein in the egg is so beaten down that many kids with wicked egg allergies can handle baked egg stuff.
Sure.
And then it was up to like, I don't know, pancake, and then a really hard scrambled egg, like scrambled egg but cooked real hard kind of thing, and then like a cooked meringue, and then the next one will be a raw meringue kind of deal. So we're standing there at the hospital, and I'm trying to get her to eat this meringue. She ain't interested, because she knows. She associates egg, like the smell of egg, with I don't feel well.
Not feeling well.
But what we did was we disguised it by putting a lot of chocolate into it. We have these, because she's also allergic to milk. We have these special dairy-free chocolate chips that we melt into the and I don't know. We disguise it by putting it on like Premium Plus crackers or whatever. Well, some kind of cracker, and she finally just ate this thing. Like, I don't know, she just decided suddenly she was hungry. Well, she was eating the crumbs of the cracker, which acts as a bit of an aperitif, not an aperitif. What the hell is an amuse-gueule in English? You eat it before your main meal to get the digestion going. A starter is one word. Jesus.
An appetizer.
Yeah. So I guess like these little tiny crumbs of these crackers were actually as an appetizer, because suddenly she's and I like some of this meringue on the spoon. She sort of tasted it and then just went, oh, and just went to town on the spoon. And fortunately, there was no reaction, but because the last reaction was so big, they kept us there for a long time to sort of make sure. So by the time we got home, man, we were wiped. We were like ready to go to sleep, and I had to work the rest of the day.
Yeah.
She took a nap and everything, but just like I'm sitting there and I'm working my job, and I'm looking over there, and she's asleep on the couch, and I just want to go and
The same.
just snuggling right next to her and everything. I just couldn't do it. But why did I think of that? Something you said, or someone in the side chat said something that reminded me of this. I can't for the life of me remember. I don't remember why I'm talking about this.
I had said hope that you guys are doing well, and then you
Oh,
said
yeah.
we're doing okay.
So yeah, I mean we're talking, and man, she doesn't get the whole changing of the hours thing. So we were awake way before 6 this morning, and I was not happy about it.
Yeah, but, I hope at some point we can find the collective will to agree to do away with daylight savings.
That would make me happy.
That's a killer. It was fun when I was a kid and I had an extra hour of sleep on a.
Yeah, but
anymore I'm just like messes with me.
Just kills me. I mean, some provinces don't do it anymore. I think Saskatchewan doesn't do it anymore.
Arizona doesn't.
Arizona doesn't. Hawaii. Yeah.
And then there's like we've got Michigan, and Michigan has the upper and lower peninsula.
Yeah.
Well, if you look on a map, the upper peninsula goes all the way. So here's the upper peninsula, and there's Illinois and Wisconsin and all these states that it kind of hangs over the top of. Yeah. And these are all central time. And we've got this one, it's kind of like how Thunder Bay, I guess, and is all the way west, but it hangs out with the rest of Ontario and Eastern time.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
But when I lived in way northern Wisconsin, you'd go over the border to do something on a whim in the UP, and you're like, oh my God, I forget they have their kooky Eastern time.
That's a kooky state. How the hell did that thing happen, geographically speaking?
I don't know the history around that one.
Like, what? It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, and then if you want an interesting history read, there's all of the attempted state secessions to make new states.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an aim at one point for the UP and part of northern Wisconsin to create a 51st state called Superior.
Okay.
Because they felt kind of both equally unrepresented in the rest of their state politics.
That's an unfortunate name for a state, though.
Well, it's Lake Superior and
I know,
State of Superior.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a pretty unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because then you'd have to live up to it.
Yeah.
Well, have a good evening.
All right.
And we'll yak at you later on.
All right. See you later. Thanks for coming on.
Sure.
Johnny Harper is going to get his family a butcher box for Christmas. What is that? Oh, nice to see Grace has my back on this one. Sure, Mark, you can come on and make a quick point or talk about anything outdoorsy related. Grace, butcher box. Oh, it's a nice. Actually, that sounds pretty good. That probably costs a mint. Yeah, and Johnny was saying the same thing. There's no daylight savings in Hawaii. Wait, Michigan got the Upper Peninsula because Ohio got the Toledo Strip. It's an interesting history. What the hell's the Toledo Strip? I'm gonna have to Google this afterwards after we're done here because that don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'd love to know the story behind that. I'd love to know what's going on there because geographically it makes no sense to me. You know, it's I think we got Mark here. Okay, he says he wants to come on and make a point. Mark.
Good evening. How the heck are you?
I'm a little congested. I got a bit of a cold happening.
Congestified? What the heck?
Congestification.
Did you get outside and catch a nip of cold or what?
Well, I was outside, but
are we gonna have to do this and say you've got COVID and you need to isolate for 2 weeks or something?
Well, the cool thing is, if I was isolating right now, nobody would know because in my life, there's no difference between isolating and not isolating.
I know. I'm in the same boat as you. Same boat. Speaking of boats, I did a bit of brainstorming after we talked about, canoe rescues.
Yeah.
And I want to share an idea, and it's important that this idea is not a criticism of what happened there in any way, shape, or form, because we weren't there, right?
Right.
But if I were to encounter a bunch of boats in that similar circumstance,
yep.
If the people were close enough, my first instinct would be to get the two upright canoes paddle tied together, side by each.
Yep.
Now you got a stable platform. You get out of the kayak. Huh?
Almost like a raft, in fact.
Like a raft. You get out of your kayak, you tell the other paddlers that are there, let's get the people into the boats. Let's take care of that. Maybe you deal with going straight to shore. Maybe you deal with getting the other canoe right away while you're all stable.
Yep.
And then you get to shore and get a fire going. There's no guarantees anything would be different. There's if anybody was deeply hypothermic, you're not in any better circumstance, perhaps, than what happened.
I just want to say before you finish. All right, Johnny, good luck with the voting. I guess they vote on a lot of stuff with each ballot down there. It's not like a Canadian, right? Where who do you vote for in your riding? Liberal, Conservative, NDP, Green, Bloc. Just check off one box. Done.
And do you have to vote for whether Newfoundland stays in Canada or not?
No, they don't ask us about stuff like that anymore. We're okay. It gets just a little uncomfortable.
Hey. Attention how you speak about the Quebecois there. I might pretend to take offense or something.
Yeah, but we're getting a little political. So, okay. So, but yeah, I like your idea.
So you tried to create a platform that might be a good, it depends on how what the language barriers are like.
Also depends on how choppy things are, maybe.
Yeah, it does. I've done a lot of rescuing. I've been an asthmatic all my life, and I had to be a bit careful to not overextend myself with the asthma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I could carry a guy like you on the back of my flat water, my sea kayak or my whitewater kayak, and you would have a tough time tipping me over, even if you were trying on purpose, right? You might have, if you're cold, you might not be able to get on the back. I could lean the boat over and help you get on the back. There's all kinds of things you can do. But and this paddler was at that level. Yeah. But some kayakers aren't canoeists. Mm-hmm. So this was more for the canoe culture and the canoe, community to remember to use what you have there. If it works,
Yeah.
And if you take charge in a rescue situation, it's amazing how people will go and make things happen.
Yeah, because in a situation where the shift is hitting the fan, someone who's told what to do has something to focus on. Yep. Someone who's, whereas before where they're just like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Just shut up, do this.
Yeah.
Boom. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that. Hey, something I wanted to ask you, but during the live stream,
books are always free.
Well,
yeah, it's cool.
The oh bloody hell, I've lost. Oh yeah, what do you prefer? Do you prefer kayaking or canoeing?
Oh, that depends.
Yeah,
that depends. Sea kayaking. Look, I've sea kayaked at at a fairly high level. I didn't do the big trips that some people who have, they can do, like going around Vancouver Island and stuff. That's out of the picture for me.
Right.
But I've gone out paddling in 30 and 40 knot winds in a kayak alone, solo, nobody near me, and had a blast. You paddle for 25, 30 minutes upwind, you turn around and you paddle downwind, and you cover the same distance in like 2 or 3 minutes. And you turn around and you go back and you do it all over again. And you can do things in a sea kayak, like, go through a curling green water wave that's breaking over your head with 2-3 feet of water, and you take some paddle strokes through the wave underneath the water, and you come out the other side. You can't do that in the canoe.
No. You probably can't do it in the kayak if you don't have the skirt around the hole either.
Exactly. You need a skirt. You need a tight skirt. You need a tight skirt for that kind of paddling.
Yeah.
Now, canoeing is so easy to just grab 2 big bags or 4 small ones and toss them in and go. A kayak, you got to get it. You got to pack it right, because if it doesn't balance, now you can't shift the food stuff around so much. Sometimes you can throw a liter or 2 and you can switch its sides, and that'll balance the boat.
Yeah.
And for portaging, a kayak, I tried it once. No.
This doesn't work.
It doesn't work. And your shoulder is like, and if you're solo, it's forget it. If you're 2, then you can carry a kayak on each, in each handle of the bows and the handles.
Yeah.
And I've done whitewater touring, so I've gone camping with boats, but in places where we didn't have to portage. So on Georgian Bay. And we went in places and conditions where in a canoe would have been a bit tricky, because the waves were making boomers, breaking over the shallow rocks, big waves coming in from the Georgian Bay. And so in a canoe, that would have been tricky too.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you're going. If you're going on Opiang solo and only on Opiang, sea kayak is great. If you're going further and portaging, canoe is the way to go.
I like what Ethan says here. And by the way, Ethan, I put a link there if you want to just come on and yap. That video, well, some of you may know the video that I made with Camille 2 summers ago from Tobermory, where we went out on a canoe for first time canoeing. That was in a small inlet that in previous years would have been separated from Lake Huron. No, wait, we were on Georgian Bay. Like Tobermory is Georgian Bay, and then
and Georgian Bay is on the east side, and Lake Huron's on the north and the north and west side.
Okay, so we're on the where Tobermory is.
Yep.
Where we are, it's a very small inlet in from Lake Huron that would have had a spit of land separating. Separating where we were from Lake Huron, but because the water was so high, that separation wasn't there. So we were very careful to not go too far towards Lake Huron, because I do know that the Great Lakes can go from calm to kicking you on the arse really fast, and I don't have the skills, and she'd never been in a canoe before.
Right.
Something excuse me, what Avid is saying here.
Yeah, I see that.
Huge lakes scare the crap out of me as well. Absolutely. Deep water scares the crap out of me. Like to the point where I'll be standing at the old Port of Montreal, next, on a dock next to a ship. I look down the side of the ship, and as the ship sort of disappears into the murky ass water, I get really, really creepy feelings. So like I don't think I would go, necessarily exploring Lake Superior, shall we say?
Yeah.
And I would at least stick real close to the curb, not the curb, the shore.
The curb, the dock. The problem with big lakes and stuff is you have to be able to rescue yourself. Now, I didn't paddle this year because of health issues that have kept me off the water.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I go out and I practice, wet exits. I have never, except once in whitewater, right upstream of a not a semi-nasty, long 1 kilometer long whitewater stretch. It would have been bumpy. It was shallow. It wasn't very deep.
Okay.
I've to roll in like 15 years of whitewater paddling. You know, never missed a roll to the point where I had to get out of the boat. This time I had to get out.
Wow.
And my buddies rescued me, and it was all fine. So when you've got a record like that, you go on the water and you're going to go on rough conditions. The first thing you do before you go out into the rough area is you practice, you do a few rolls to warm up. Is my roll bomb-proof? So you're testing yourself for, is my roll bomb-proof?
Right.
Now you got to go out there and do some rolls in the rough stuff. Because it's different.
Yeah.
Right? You come back up and you're just about to take a breath of air, and a wave hits you and knocks you back over. So it's a little different. Now you've got to try and get out of your boat in intermediate conditions and get back in the boat and get the skirt on upside down and right yourself up. Now the hard part is holding onto your paddle and not having your paddle float away.
Right.
And then you can right yourself up. In a canoe, in rough conditions, self-rescue, if you're all alone, is pretty tricky. If you're on a river, you can sort of, swim the full boat to the side. You can get it half empty or 3/4 empty, and you can pull it to the side. Now you got to go find your paddle.
Yeah.
Make one tied inside the boat, that's thinking ahead. But if you're out in the ocean in deep water, on a large lake or something like Lake Georgian Bay or Lake Huron, it's reassuring to know what you're doing. And if you don't, holy cow, are you vulnerable? As I get older,
I was going to say, what's it called? What's that? The canoe and kayak school in Ontario?
White Squall?
No. Chemic? No. She was on the Canoe Hound live stream last week.
I missed it. I'm a little out of touch with that community because I haven't paddled with them in 20 years. I've been on the West Coast.
Yeah. But anyways, someone I do work with, she took their weekend canoe course with I think her boyfriend.
Was she at Barry's Bay? Was she at Barry's Bay?
I don't know. But like day one, you roll the canoe on their course to get all that fear out of you, like right away. The first thing you do, roll the canoe and learn how to get out of that. And
canoe over canoe rescues are pretty easy to do.
Boom. Madawaska Canoe Center.
Madawaska, that's at Barry's Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I would like to take their course. It's expensive.
Is it? It's a good course though. They're really, 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 they've been good for 25, 30 years. So that's a pretty good record.
Yeah. Yeah. Ethan.
Ethan, you'll have to just, go hiking with a backpack and, stay to small lakes and rivers and enjoy that because it's fun too. Oh yeah. And the Edmund Fitzgerald and the Titanic.
Yeah.
But think of the good songs that you could, we could make a song about Ethan, who died in the middle of, I don't know what Lake Michigan.
The wreck of Lake
Michigan's
Swift.
left out. I don't know if it has a song.
Well, I'll just write one. I mean, I'm in a Celtic band, for God's sake.
Hey, there you go.
The wreck of the Swift pack boat. I mean, I would need to do some research, but because I don't know how fast those things go down.
The thing that people forget sometimes, Jesse, is that if you get a little bit or a bit more education, you get a lot more confidence and you're not as scared. And when you're not as scared on the water, you're more relaxed, right? And now the boat can move around underneath you and you're not falling into the water. You're not falling over.
Yeah.
As soon as you get scared, you stiffen up and next thing you know.
Yeah, forget about it.
Yeah, yeah. And, that's maybe what happened to these three people that flipped over in Opiongo is they got a little bit nervous and, the whole bunch of them get a little bit less flexible in the canoe.
Well, also, I mean, I remember from mountain biking, if everything starts to go south, usually, very often what puts you under is you trying to overcompensate, right?
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah, and I've
Good
done
night,
a
mate.
very
But
tiny
Nate-
bit of mountain biking, and I was very, very conservative because I'm not a mountain biker.
Yeah.
And you're on Whistler Mountain and you're going around these amazing corners, but if you
Yeah.
miss, you're going down like a 70-foot drop. It's
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah.
So I'm a wuss. Very slow. But for
Yeah.
kayaking, I've been doing it a long time. So, and in the old days, we used to train with a kayak in the pool, and you get somebody on the front of your boat, somebody on the back, and they're trying to tip you over.
Okay.
And so the people, they coordinate. The person in the back and the front, they're coordinating to try and tip you over, and you're using your paddle, sculling on the water in order to stay upright. And they're trying to tip you left and right and left, and they're trying to tire you out. And after you've done that a few hundred times, your braces get really good.
Yeah.
And not many people get that opportunity.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that in cold water. Be at ease, but don't get complacent. Yeah, that's a good attitude, Grace. I agree. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share with you tonight.
All right. Have a good night.
I want to go out. I'd love to go back out into the woods, but not happening this year.
No, me either.
Next summer, maybe.
I have great hopes for 2021.
Yeah, next summer, maybe.
No.
Next summer, cross my fingers. And I lost a bit of equipment in last year, so I've got to re-equip a few things. So
How'd you lose your stuff?
I'm not going to tell you about that tonight.
Oh, I think we've talked about this, haven't we?
Maybe another day, another time. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got some shopping to do.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
big list of wants, small list of needs. It's like,
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, focus on what's important. So,
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, I wish you a good night.
Good night. Have a good one, sir.
You too.
There we go. It's funny when you're just learning how to do something like canoeing or kayaking by yourself versus having taken a course. How I taught myself how to play bass, but when I took 6 months worth of lessons, my bass playing improved massively because I was suddenly taught the proper ways to do things that I had taught myself wrong. And I bring that sensibility to most of what I do. You can learn to paddle, or you can be trained to paddle and do it better, more efficiently, safer. I think there's a real value there to spending the money and getting trained up. But it does take money. And when you can get into a boat and start getting, I don't know, maybe you YouTube stuff or read books and just start to get a feel for it for a whole lot less money, it can be really attractive to just do that. And a lot of people do that. They just, I've never been trained. I taught myself to play bass. Never had to get trained. Taught myself to play piano. Taught myself to draw. Taught myself to this. Taught myself to shoot. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm saying that for me, when I finally took bass lessons and relearned some stuff, it made me a better player. And it taught me, in no uncertain terms, the value for me of getting, oh, sorry, guys, of getting trained up. And when it's something that could be dangerous if you learned it wrong, then I see the value even more in that. But that's neither here nor there. That's because of Mark was talking about that live stream we'd had, the live stream discussion we'd had. I think that there are so many ways to get your outdoor fix, eh? Like I used to mountain bike. I used to cross country ski. I still like to snowshoe. It doesn't have to be a bushcraft trip. I would love to sort of go and do an overnighter tonight, tomorrow, anytime. But sometimes just getting out for an afternoon and into the woods, no matter what, no matter how, just do a hike, is enough to sort of recharge your batteries a bit, excuse me. I think, oh, wow. Here's Ethan. He taught himself to cook mac and cheese. Good on you, mister. Is that like true mac and cheese with like melted cheese and the whole thing, or do you mean like Kraft Dinner? Because there's a difference there. My wife makes a delectable Haitian style mac and cheese. Haitian style mac and cheese isn't mac and cheese. It's like rigatoni and cheese or whatever's the tube, the big tube pasta, but it's still just delish. Alain says Madawaska training is on my list for sure, but the dollars put it a little lower on the list. Yeah, it's expensive. It's big money, and especially because I would want to do it. I would like to go and do it with Camille. Take the courses together. Ethan. Okay. All right. That's legit. That's fine. That's I used to make Kraft Dinner when I was a student, but I would always shred up some damn cheddar or mozzarella or something and add that into the cheese, just because I found that it made it a little richer. And I was trying to ignore the fact that I was shift eating poor. It was faking it with some real cheese in my Kraft Dinner. Hey, Mallory's here. How's it going? Been having crazy late nights in the barn and then just spending time with Ben. Well, that's a busy and good life. So I'm definitely not gonna ding you for that. Welcome to the stream. I've had a couple of guests on briefly each this time. I keep inviting people, seeing who bites. Yeah, I know, man. I'm wrecked, man. For those of you who aren't, here's Ethan saying if I yawn one more time, he's putting me in timeout. It's just Clemence does not get that the hour changed, and so she keeps waking me up at like 5 something in the morning. And because she and I spent 3 hours at the hospital yesterday, we were wiped partway through yesterday, and I tried to get a really good night's sleep, but baby woke me up really early, and I just so that's why I'm yawning. I'm trying not to. Oh no. I guess I'm in timeout. Sorry, dude. But anyway, so that is neither here nor there. The fact is I am here and I'm awake and I'm doing great, and I had a terrific beer, and we've had some good conversation. Ethan's not coming on because he's watching the end of his country. Kidding. That was almost political. And yeah, you just go to your room right now. It's not even safe in my room. She just pops open the door, comes in, grabs my hand, makes me get up. It's like, stop, please, stop. Oh well. Oh well. One day she'll be old enough to just make her own damn milk. But yeah, so I sort of started this night off telling you guys what for me would be the ideal way to, start a late fall, early winter day in the woods. Maybe I'm not even going to make it to 11. Wouldn't that be embarrassing? I don't make it through the last half hour of my live stream. I have fallen asleep on my live streams before. I don't know if any of you guys have been here long enough to have remembered that, but I remember once, like last year or the year before, I was like in the middle of a sentence and did anybody notice? Yes. But you know, oh, Mallory says, my daughter wakes me up beside me, my bed, kicking me in the back these days. Yeah. I was like, oh, leave me alone. Yeah, maybe one day they'll stop switching the hours on us. Or they'll just get rid of the savings time altogether and we won't have to deal with it. We just won't deal with it. Anytime I don't have to deal with something is a good day. You know, I'm one of these people who I don't like to argue too much about stuff because to me, being left the hell alone is worth more than being right is. You know what I'm saying? I like being left alone. I like not having problems. I like not being woken up way too damn early. I like having a quiet morning where I'm not being bugged all the time. Maybe that's part of the reason why I like to sort of hit the woods by myself. Nobody to bug me. I'm all caught up in what the hell's going on here? Too many wires. Too many damn wires in this house. Too many wires in this 21st century life. So Mallory, what's up aside from that? I saw you put up a short vid with was it Copper? Is it Copper the horse's name? So what else is going on in Malloryville? Who else do we still have with us? Man, since Ethan was talking about craft dinner, I kind of feel like going and making myself a mac and cheese. Yeah. I got to stop eating late at night, though, man, because I've been packing on the COVID pounds like you guys would not believe. Ah, Ethan, yes. Yes, that is good news. I'm happy to see that. If everything goes to plan. Let's just be optimistic, okay? I like what I'm reading here, man. I'm gonna just be optimistic. I can be optimistic for the both of us. Can you see new cameras getting ready for winter? Hoof, yeah. Oh yeah, because you've got your new cameras now. So, what kind of learning curve are you finding on that stuff? You find it easy to sort of get used to, or do you sort of miss just using a phone kind of thing? I really, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I feel that DSLRs need to update, like every company, this is across the board, they need to update their interfaces to match what people younger than me expect because of the fact that they shoot everything on a phone. I think that's what these companies have to do. They have to sort of, okay, how hard is it to shoot well on an iPhone? It's not. How the hell do you, like, what can you pull from that interface into a DSLR? Yeah, you've got a lot more features on a DSLR. I get that, but how do you bring that ease of use over to the major? Because what's going to happen is camera manufacturers are just going to keep losing ground to cell phones as the cameras on the phones get better and better and better. That's what I predict will happen otherwise. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that is going well, Mallory. That's yeah, that's good. That's great. I'm dying to replace my 80D with the 90D. dying to, because I want to get the 4K, but with the lenses to get the bokeh behind me and stuff. I love how Mallory just keeps accumulating footage. She's so far behind in the editing. She's like, I'm just gonna shoot some more stuff. I love it, because my problem is that I don't have time to shoot anything. So I kind of envious of you that problem, Mallory. I wish I had that problem. Yeah. And by the way, Mallory, I'm gonna call Grace a grave from now on, because that's the world's worst autocorrect. Anyone else want to come on and chit chat a bit? I'm gonna put the invite down there again. Regale me with some stories of last time you were in the outdoors, or some good memories. Maybe your favorite camping trip ever. Do you have a place you like to go? Do you have an activity you like? Are you a bushcrafter or camper, hiker, paddler? Or are you more on the Mallory side? Do you like to are you a homesteader? Mallory, Johnny was here, but he had to go in and vote, so I think he's going to try to come back on when he's done voting. Autocorrect can be an epic laugh at times. Yeah, and sometimes it's just frustrating. Like when I'm trying to just drop a punchy line in, like partway through a conversation, and I bugger the autocorrect buggers it somehow. I just get so like, I had the timing right. I had the line right. But autocorrect would not let me have my happiness. You know? What? You're not decent. Well, Mallory, that's just downright awkward. We don't want no awkwardness around here. Am I right, folks? I do awkward like it's going out of style, but you know, whatever. So yeah, Foxit would go up just for the dad jokes. Oh God. By the way, hi Foxit. How's it going? I work with a guy who's like, this guy's like dad jokes central, man. He just goes and goes and goes. And at some point, I just have to say, stop. Just stop. For the love of God and all that is holy. Stop. I kind of feel, Cliff, that if you and I were hanging around in the same place, it would be very similar. Hey, Lakes is back. How's it going? How is your little your away time there? Mallory, are you drinking a beer or something? Are you having? I drank. This is a microbrewery, a brand new microbrewery in Hudson, Quebec, owned by someone who I kind of know. Oh, that's a good point. Dale says dad jokes are great for when you need to distract teenagers, though. Yeah, that's true. Lakes and Hikes just had supper. Just had some supper. Hey, how's it going, mister? I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but at my daughter's school, they started talking about Remembrance Day, coming up. And so she started asking me about her uncle, Greg, and because he used to live in the Northwest Territories as soon as Dave appeared, as Up North of 60 appeared, it reminded me of this conversation we had this morning. Because my brother is a former commando, but now he's a helicopter pilot. Some of you guys know that he went to Mali because they needed helicopter pilots with experience taking off and landing under fire and stuff like that. And it's interesting how Camille is trying to connect like the pictures of like old veterans from the Second World War that she sees at school. And I mean, they also showed a video of, I think, the Canadians who died in Afghanistan or something. But like she's trying to make the mental connections between veterans and life rather than just veterans and deep history. Because like the First World War is deep history to a kid who's 9, right? Second World War is deep history for a kid who's 9. Afghanistan is even historical for a kid who's 9. But the colors, but the photos are color, and then there's video and stuff. And, she knows, her Uncle Greg went to Afghanistan like 3 times. And so it's like, I can see that in her head, she's trying to work this stuff out. She's trying to, because to her, and when I was her age too, everyone in a military uniform was obviously off in a war somewhere. And I remember last year or the year before, I think it was last year, for Remembrance Day, they did a unit on like, what does peace mean to you? And they would write what peace meant to them on this poppy, and they had them all up on the wall. And she wrote, "Peace means that my Uncle Greg is home and my family's together again." At that point, her uncle was nowhere near home. It's just the way kids see that kind of stuff is so simplistic in some way. Simplistic in some ways, but so pure in other ways. I see the way she sees the world sometimes, and I wish that we didn't lose that as we grew up. I wish that like the school system and the world and work and everything didn't kick that out of us as we grew older. Because someone who's like 40 and still sees the world in those eyes, we think of as naive and kind of stupid. We all do that, Cliff, I think it's very possible we would drive one another crazy. Absolutely. Mallory's in pain. Oh no. Now sent me a joke via Signal, but I can't get it because my phone's plugged in over there. I'll answer you later. Oh, nice hike. I like it. Down where you are, it's probably not as cold as it is up here right now. But yeah, maybe I'll drop my brother a line. I know, he's in Canada these days. He's in I think he's still in Alberta. Yeah, there's a helicopter squadron in Edmonton. I think that's where he is. Anyway, so it's funny that the things you think of, just like something pops up and it makes you think of all these weird things. Hike says, what? Well, okay, in YouTube land, Hike says something earlier than in StreamYard land. He says, okay, there you go. Bundle up, low 50s Fahrenheit. So let's see, 0 degrees Canadian is 32 degrees freedom, right? So 50s, so like, I don't know, like around 15 or something in Celsius. I'm so bad at this. But yeah, I could see if you're sleeping in the low 50s, assuming that I really know what the low 50s are, then bundling up is probably the way to go. Even in the depths of summer, sometimes the night can get really cold around here. Ethan's asking if any of us have seen The Outpost on Netflix. I will take a look for it. I've got to find my pen again. I'm taking notes of everything that I say I want to check out on paper, because I feel because I find that after the live stream, I click close on the window. Woo! What a great live stream. Crap, I forgot to copy down everything people told me to check out. And then I have to figure out, did that show up in the side chat like at 15 minutes in or at 50 minutes in, right? So I'm just writing it down old school. There we go. Boom. So I'll check it out, Ethan. Dave says winter. Boom, there it is. Winter sure early. Wow, -18 already. 5 to 6 inches on the lake. Yeah, we like I woke up to snow on the ground, like about yay much. So nothing massive. And it's not all there. It's that I don't know if you get the same kind of snow up there, Dave, but we like it's that like a windy day makes it all kind of go away. Aside from like where the ice is on the sidewalks. It's not a light powder, but it's kind of a powder. So that's what we got today. And I don't remember having snow before Christmas in a long time. Unless it was like a few little specks that melt away 30 seconds later kind of thing. Tenenbaum has also seen that. Okay. Oh, a modern Hamburger Hill. All right. Good to know. Very graphic. All right. Yeah, the darkness so early. Holy crap. And the sun comes up late in the mornings. Well, it doesn't really, because, everything changed on Sunday. But yeah, the shorter days are really, really hard on me. You guys know this. I have a tendency towards depression that really kills me in the winter months. I last year got like a sun lamp. See if that would help. I don't know if it helped at all. Life usually pisses me off pretty bad, so I don't know the difference between just being pissed off and being depressed sometimes. Yeah, next week is supposed to really climb. It's going to be interesting because I don't know how to like I don't know when to pack away all the summer stuff. And or if it's even time yet. That didn't make any sense. Sorry, guys. Guys, I'm tired. Maybe I'll just cut it short 10 minutes early. I'm having a hard time keeping my head running. So maybe I'll just say good night here and hope that next year I'm a little Oh, you're in Sudbury, right? So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll drink a great big tea or something right before next week, just so we can finish this off in the in the manner to which we've become accustomed. So everyone, until next week, stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy, and I hope to see you all next week. Thanks, guys. See you later.